The Highfather now has the power of the White Lantern, and he plans to change the universe of the Green Lanterns into a universe capable of fighting Darkseid. He plans to literally change the universe, strip it free of its free will, and make it an army against Darkseid. Kyle and Carol have been stripped of their powers and they've been thrown to the planet's surface to rot, and John and Sinestro are imprisoned on New Genesis. Even with the power of Parallax, the very entity of fear, they can't get out. Guy Gardner and Simon Baz are also imprisoned by one of Highfather's generals for being stupid enough to chase him to New Genesis. And Hal Jordan, our only hope that remains? He went to Earth to see the one man that might be able to help. Black Hand, the wielder of the Black Lantern Ring. Hal tries to convince Hand to come and save the universe, but Hand tells him the universe always needs saving. Why is this different? Hal explains that the life equation was stolen. That perks up Black Hand. That doesn't sound good. I need as many people as you can get me, Hand. We need to make an army. That sounds like a war. Not a war, Hand. The war. That perks up his interest finally, and they both fly off into space with Hand declaring, "Space War! Now show me where I can kill some gods." They fly to the Source Wall where Sinestro was supposed to meet them, and Black Hand is impressed with the architecture. The face is forever frozen in fear on it. Hal is confused though. Where are Sinestro and John? That's when Orion stops by to say hello with an army of his own. Hal throws up a willpower-based wall to block them, while Black Hand stares at the wall asking, "Is the space war behind the wall?" Hal snaps at him, "Focus, Hand!" Orion then smashes the shields. "Well, I didn't fly all this way not to kill something," Black Hand tells Hal and Orion, and he summons an army of fallen Green Lanterns to assist. Hal is horrified at the idea of this, and the new gods begin blasting their way through the army of the dead. At first, the New Genesis guards can cut them down, but eventually the New Genesis guys are overwhelmed by the guards and begin getting dragged to the Source Wall. Then, one of the guards' cape touches the wall to become a part of the wall, forever entombed in never-ending death. And Black Hand realizes, the wall isn't a wall. It's death, a mass grave! Back on New Genesis, Highfather hands Indigo One the Indigo Ring as payment for betraying everyone. It's because of her that Sinestro and John and everyone with them are now captured on New Genesis. He then begins dropping lanterns a few at a time in front of him, and he turns them against their will into his followers, stripping them of their personality and willpower, turning them into members of the New Genesis army. He then opens up John and Sinestro's cell, dropping them in front of him. Both get ready to fight, preparing their biggest constructs. But the now mindless follower lanterns grab them and hold them still. John is shocked that the Highfather would strip people of their personalities, willpower, and their free will. And Highfather explains that his plan is to use this universe. It is the only one ever able to defeat Darkseid, and due to that, he will return. Highfather wants to go to Earth and change everyone there, including its champions, into the ultimate weapons against Darkseid. Then he prepares to bombard Sinestro, John, and their friends with the white light, when one of Highfather's generals, Maladrone, steps forward taking the blast. Highfather is appalled that someone that he saved from Darkseid and made a general of his would do this to him. But he explains that he left Darkseid because he couldn't see people become mindless followers anymore. And then he boom tubes out of there with Sinestro, John, and Saint Walker at his side. He explains that this is all he could do with his mother box. It won't survive long from that blast. But if they can get another mother box, they can boom tube themselves around. While Sinestro goes off on his own plan, John runs back out onto the battlefield, steals a weapon dropping one of the guards, and then grabs themselves a mother box before booming out of there. This insurgency is only getting warmed up, John says as they leave. Meanwhile, Kyle and Carol are on the surface of the planet, separated from everyone with no idea how to get back, when a new god arrives before them, Metron. He sits above them in his chair and he explains that the balance is shifted. While he will not help them, he will leave them something that will allow them to help themselves. A mother box with one charge. Using the boom tube, Kyle and Carol end up over by John, Saint Walker, and Maladrone. And everyone is overjoyed to see the friend that they thought was dead. You see, everyone thought Kyle was dead ever since Relic attacked this universe. It's been a year. Saint Walker, his dearest friend, is the most overjoyed. He is one of Kyle's greatest friends. Everyone embraces and he explains what was going on. Then, before anything else can come out of their welcoming, the guards of New Genesis find them and they begin opening fire on the group. But Kyle notices something. No one is shooting at him. So he walks up to one of the guards, knocks him down, and as the guard is saying that they are not allowed to hurt the bearer, he then beats the guard down, taking his spear weapon. He then turns to everyone, "Let's get my ring back!" They run right to Highfather and they begin fighting him. John tries to hold Highfather with a construct, but of course he breaks out of it. Saint Walker and Carol both begin to open fire on him with the spear's lasers and he blocks them. But then Kyle leaps in, destroying his scepter and separating the white ring from it. He grabs the ring and he puts it on, declaring, "Let's see how you like fighting a white lantern." But nothing happens. The Highfather tells him that he is foolish. The ring is not needed. The life equation within it, the Highfather is the life equation. He then gains a White Lantern's appearance and he blasts them with a White Lantern gun, seemingly killing everyone. Meanwhile, Simon and Guy are in the Miracle Cell, a cell that if you do manage to escape from, will surely kill you. But Guy in his infinite wisdom charges his ring up for a massive blast to break out of their cell. As it explodes, Simon puts up a shield in a hurry and they take a massive hit from their cell. Simon then uses his willpower as far as it's ever gone before, breaking them out of the Miracle Cell, only to find Melodrone in front of them. He takes his helmet off and he explains everything to Guy and Simon that's been going on with Sinestro, John, and Saint Walker. You see, Guy and Simon have been out of commission for a while. He then explains to Guy and Simon where all of the stolen rings are being kept, with Halt, the new Genesis blacksmith. Simon and Guy get into position and they begin their attack on Halt. Simon hits him with a full blast of willpower, to which Halt returns fire with his hammer. Guy has a bit worse of a fight though, as he's getting involved with robots trying to fight him that have woken up within the forge and have begun detecting him as a contaminant. It throws Guy back and he gets full of rage. "Contaminant? Screw you, pal!" He then runs out to Simon and Halt fighting and spews his napalm blood on Halt, which seemingly weakens him. This gives Guy an idea and he places his napalm blood into the Green Lantern willpower footballs made by Simon. He then punts the bombs at the forge and Halt. As they escape, Guy shows their prize, the stolen lantern rings, and the sapphire ring lifts up and carries itself off to its new user. Back with John, Carol, Kyle, and Saint Walker, they've survived and they were teleported somewhere else. Then the Templar Guardians appear before them to inform them that it will be all of them who will save the day, not the Guardians. Sinestro is off on his own, trying to sneak through the city undetected, until he sees one of his old yellow lanterns changed by Highfather. He allows Parallax to envelop him and burns Devil Dog alive. Then he crushes the new Genesis soldier that saw it happen. Just at that moment, he sees a sapphire ring zip past him, so he decides to follow it and watches it land on Carol Ferris's finger. He stands before everyone laughing at the idea that the White Lantern will still save them. He wishes to prove his worth to the Guardians by flying straight to the Highfather, trying to throw the fear of Darkseid in his face, only to be rejected. And Sinestro flees from the palace using the boom tube that the Highfather's army has opened up, allowing them to go to the Green Lantern's universe. Back at the Source Wall, Black Hand is looking at the corpses laid out in front of him, and he touches the wall, the very thing that traps individuals inside of it. He begins to feel the sand taking over his hands, and then he throws back his Black Lantern power and wakes the wall up! Everything that was trapped within the wall wakes up confused, but forced to do Black Hand's bidding. "Rise!" Black Hand calls, as even Relic himself wakes up. Orion sees his end coming. "You may best us here, Lanterns, but without a boom tube, you aren't bringing this army to Genesis." At that moment, the boom tube that Sinestro rode opens up next to them. "You were saying? Hal Jordan, are you coming?" Then Sinestro, Black Hand, and Hal dive into the boom tube, and Black Hand turns back to his army. "Follow me, friends!" So the wall of zombies begin to come through as well. Let's play! Everything that was trapped within the walls begins to attack and destroy New Genesis. Some of them are even calling them the Wall Titans, as they are massive beings from the time before. And the Highfather calls this madness. Hal tells Black Hand to keep the new Army Genesis busy while they go after Highfather himself, and Black Hand smiles. Over with John, Guy, and Simon, they all join the fight, but Carol stays with Kyle as the Guardians argue over telling Kyle the truth. They agree to and they approach him. Highfather does not have the life equation. He has tapped into your mind to use it. It is still in your body and you will still die from it. On the battlefield, Black Hand begins to lose control of the beings that he raised from the dead because they are resurrecting. They are returning to life. And Black Hand's arms begin turning into the wall itself. He shouts, "Hal Jordan, you knew this would do this to me!" And he flies back through the open boom tube right past Relic that is staring at the now empty wall, wondering what changed. With the Source Wall Titans stopping their onslaught due to confusion, the new Genesis army surrounds Sinestro and Hal. Over with Kyle. He knows what this means, and after debating it and Carol trying to talk him out of it, Kyle goes into the recesses of his own mind to find the Highfather there. While this is going on, John, Guy, and Simon go to the prison cells and they free the rest of the Lanterns. And as Hal Jordan is being taken by the army, he leans over and he shouts to the High Father, "You are taking people's free wills. You are starting a war that will kill billions, and all to create an army against Darkseid. Don't you get it? You are becoming Darkseid." The High Father stops and says, "No, what have I done?" The Source Titans keep crushing the city of New Genesis, killing thousands, and no one even knows who to fight anymore. It's only death and destruction over the entire city. Realizing that he needs to end this, the High Father goes back into the Mindscape, where he gives the life equation back to Kyle Rayner. "You are worthy of the life equation. Prove it now, Kyle." Kyle wakes up with his powers returned. Source Titans? That doesn't sound good. Everyone take cover. He takes off into the sky and he bombards the planet's surface with the power of life. Saint Walker watches as his friend returns to full power. High Father is remorseful as he realizes the humans did what he could not. They saved everyone. The problem is that the Source Titans have damaged the anti-gravity device in the city, and New Genesis is now barreling down towards the planet's surface. Hal sees so much death coming, and he tells Sinestro that they need to save it, but Sinestro argues, "It is time to take our win." Kyle begins to fall to the surface as every time that he bombards an area with life, he passes out. Carol catches him while the High Father orders the city to evacuate. Sinestro takes off for home, but Hal is not done yet. He flies beneath the city, literally catching it with a giant construct of himself. Hal will keep fighting until the end, even if it means saving his enemies. But it's not enough. He doesn't have the power to catch the entire city. Luckily, Saint Walker is filled with hope, thanks to seeing the White Lantern return, and his ring has sensed it. It declares, "Hope detected." And he declared, "All will be well." He super juices Hal Jordan's ring to 300%, turning his miniature construct of himself into the size of the island itself. Then, using everything he has, he puts the city down gently before collapsing and having John catch him. He asks, "Is everyone safe, John?" "They're all right, Hal. Take it easy." High Father approaches Kyle and he tells him that he misjudged him. If this world is destined to be the final battleground of New Genesis and Apocalypse, then they have proven that they are worthy. Return to your world with my sincere regrets, and know that we are adversaries no more. As they begin to leave, Guy comments, "Is it just me or is the guy-to-girl ratio here on New Genesis a little skewed?" Way to go, Guy. Always inappropriate at just the right time. Kyle then catches up with Hal to apologize for the whole Carol thing. Hal tells him, "It's fine. I'm over it. Just treat her good, otherwise, then I'll be pissed." Kyle tells him that Hal and Carol should talk, but Hal dismisses it. "We will one day." Everyone boom tubes home, where a simple forest critter takes Mogo's ring and it runs it over to his branch. The planet Mogo reawakens, thanking everyone, and the story of Godhead comes to an end. But this is not the end of our favorite lanterns. I'll return very soon with the conclusion to the White Lantern story, because as it stands right now, he's still going to die from the life equation. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Comicstorian, on Instagram at Comicstorian, and don't forget to check out our gaming channel, Eligible Monster Gaming, where you can find weekly gaming comic books, unnecessary censorships over your favorite cutscenes, and various Let's Plays. I'll talk to you guys next time right here.